Hello, boys and girls. So today, we're talking about dating preferences slash prejudices, right? Or let me say dating preferences disguised as dating prejudices. Wait, no. Dating preferences, prejudices disguised as dating preferences. There we go. So I watched this video, on a while ago. I was watching this video on the OWN network, right? Like Oprah's thing. Anyway, it was like this dating thing that they were doing. They had men and women there, had them meet each other, dates and whatever, right? And then there was this guy, and there were a bunch of black men there, a bunch of black women, and there was this guy that, kept going around to all the black women, telling them how he didn't like black women, right? And he was being disrespectful. And then eventually, someone called him out on it and was like, yeah, no, you're being disrespectful. And he's like, no, I'm not being disrespectful. That's just my preference. Yes, that's just my preference. And everybody's else have a preference. I don't have to date black women if I don't like them. I don't like black women. And I was like, okay. And what I saw there was a perfect example of how, some people have a tendency to disguise their prejudices as their dating preferences, right? And they justify it and beat their chest and say, no, it's just my preference. Everybody has their preference. But that's not what's happening here. They're just being disrespectful. And this is the thing, is that it's okay to have your preference. Everybody has things they're just attracted to for whatever reason, right? But it's not okay to just go around being disrespectful to certain groups of people, calling it your preference when it's just a prejudice. It's not okay to disrespect people. It's not okay when your preference is based solely on a prejudice. And no matter how hard people try to hide it, prejudice, is hate. And it always finds a way to show itself in colorful ways. And let me give an example of a preference versus a prejudice for anybody who's confused, right? So a preference is, for whatever reason, I'm just really attracted to Latino guys. I don't know what it is, but, I like them. I prefer to date them. Whereas a prejudice is, I prefer not to date black women because I don't like black women. I hate them with all my heart. But it's not prejudice, it's just preference. But let me be more serious. An example of a preference is if a person says that they're just really attracted to Latino guys. For whatever reason, they don't know why, they just, they find them attractive, right? Whereas a prejudice is, if someone says they prefer not to date black women because they don't like black women, because black women are somehow, they're like this, they're like that. I'm using black women as an example because that's the group that I fit into, so it's easier for me to speak to the experiences that I've seen black women experience in that, in that context. A preference is, I like this, I think it's cool, but I don't hate other things, I'm not anti other things, I just like this thing a little more than I like the others. On a good day. Now this is the thing, nobody is asking you to date any groups you may or may not have a prejudice against. That's between you and your God. A matter of fact, if you are prejudiced against certain groups of people, certain kinds of people, chances are they don't want you anyway. But we are saying that whatever prejudices you do have, you do need to be respectful regardless. You can't go around disrespecting people because of whatever is going on with you. Because you can prefer something and just genuinely, prefer it in silence and harmony and peace and unity, and you can go with God and live happily ever after with whatever is your preference, right? But you see those people that have prejudices against certain groups, they go out of their way to be disrespectful usually, especially on the internet, on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever it is. They go out of their way, to disparage them or just be disrespectful or make sure that everybody knows that they don't like this group of people or that they prefer to not date black women because they are this and they are that and they've done this to me. Like, that's not a preference, my darling. That's something else. Okay? When I prefer apple juice over mango. Okay. I was gonna say I prefer apple juice over mango juice, but I don't walk around disparaging mango juice on a daily basis, but I do. I do fully walk around insulting mango juice. That's a very bad example, but you get what I mean. It is true for other things that I, prefer over others. Moving back to the point, you see all these videos on the internet, of guys making videos about how, they don't like black women because black women are this and that and this and that and this and that. And they literally go on a rant for like 55 whole minutes, about why they do not like a certain group of people, and then they're like, but I'm not prejudiced, so it's not even racist, so it's just my preference. Like, say they commented on the picture and they talk about how beautiful she is and how black women could never because this and that. Like, you see them insulting a certain group on a daily basis, like insulting black women on a daily basis, for example. Or you see that when they leave comments on pictures and stuff like that, they can't compliment a white woman without putting down black women or whatever the case may be. That's what we're talking about. Only respecting women that you're attracted to is not respecting women at all. You have a problem. Putting some women down in order to lift other ones up is still misogynistic. Now, of course, again, I can only really speak to the black community and what I've seen here. And this whole thing of, say, putting down black women, again, I can speak to this demographic because I am one. But this whole thing of misogynoir doesn't just come from outside, it comes from within the black community as well, so from black men as well. Or to make it more relatable, this whole thing of, you know, people saying, I can't date Nigerian girls are too this, they are too that, they are too that. It comes a lot from Nigerian men as well. Not that we don't complain about Nigerian men, but that's not the point. That's not the conversation at hand, so don't bring it up in my comments. You do see quite a bit of black men on TikTok, for example, you know, talking about how they don't like to date black women because black women are this, black women are that, no. But I'm not, you know, I don't hate black women because my mom is black and my sisters are black. If I give you a boost. Anyway, I think it is a certain kind of self-hate when you are actively seeking to only be around people who are not like you. Like, there's something about, you know, something about it that rubs me the wrong way. I watched one of Jackie Aina's video a while ago where she was talking about this, you know, I think in relation to Chris Brown or something. Anyway, she mentioned that she can't imagine actively wanting her children to not look like her, you know, like that's like self-hate on a deep level. And again, I say that it is my intention to say that delicately because I do understand, like we know the reality of what life is like and has been like for black people, black children, Nigerian. Like, we know that as a black person in this world, unfortunately, no matter where you go, there's a certain level of self-hate that the world will try and inject into you, and you kind of have to work that out as you get older. It sucks. And this isn't some huge revelation, like we all know this, and you know, a lot of people have experienced it because of the way the world treats black people and treats dark skin and Afrocentric features. But anyway, I hope you get my point so far. Now, I do want to say, you know, someone might say, oh, but Tessie, I get what you're saying, but you know, I've had an issue with X group of people, and I actually gave this, you know, that group a try, dated one person from there, and they turned out to be exactly as I thought they would be. So I don't know where you're going with all this. And I hear you, kind of, because if we're being honest, the self-fulfilling prophecy is a thing. So generally, it's when you know, you believe something to be a certain way, or you expect something to be a certain way, and so you will act in ways that will make it true. So for example, you know, it's like moving back to that story I told you about, that episode of that random show I watched, like from the OWN network at the beginning of this video. You know, this man came into, and it was a black man, by the way. He came into this, you know, whole dating thing. I started going around to all the black women, telling them how he didn't like them. He was being disrespectful, and so of course when they reacted to the energy, he's like, oh, you see what I mean? Y'all are too argumentative. Y'all are too this. Y'all are too that. Y'all are too that. Like, he expected them to be a certain way, and so he immediately approached them with hostility, you know. And of course, when they responded that hostility, he took that as confirmation of the belief he came in with, that this group of people are hostile and they're somehow. I will leave some links in the description box to some studies about the self-fulfilling prophecy. Yes, it is a real phenomenon that has been studied in social psychology. Another minor example is with like students in school, for example, right? Like if the older sibling was like very smart, you know, and then maybe 2 years later their brother comes into the school and they're like, Mbakwe, are you not David's brother? Oh, your brother was very sharp. I'm sure you two must be very smart, right? And so when they expect that from you already. So when they teach, they explain to you. When they teach, they make eye contact. You know, they don't treat you like you don't have sense or anything. And so, you know, it's easy to step up when people expect you to step up, and they give you the opportunity and the space to grow, and they give you the support you need, that kind of stuff, right? Anyway, whatever it is, my point is that everybody is allowed and entitled to have their preferences. We all have preferences, and again, at the same time, people have their prejudices, and you can't force anybody to not be prejudiced. but we are saying that you do have to respect people despite whatever the heck is your problem. I think it's also important for us to really think about where our preferences come from. Sometimes these things really are just preferences that come from nowhere, but sometimes they come from somewhere. Sometimes it's a harmful place, you know, and maybe it's something worth looking at, but what's really my business with all that one? Thank you for watching. By the way, I've been watching Sex Education recently, so I do have a British accent that comes out now and then. Don't think so much about it. But thanks for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.